Certainly, Kelly Ripa, host of Live with Kelly and Mark, is having trouble deciding what to do about her senior dog. She is now old enough that it would be helpful to know what she is thinking. Dogs are Kelly Ripa's favorite. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos, hosts of Live with Kelly and Mark, talk about their two dogs, Chewy, 17, and Lena, 4. Mark quips that Lena doesn't like that he dresses her up for the winter because of the cold. Rather, they observe that it is humiliating and even appear to frown. Kelly also said they have two dogs who like to go nude. However, when Kelly mentioned that Chewy wasn't doing well, the talk veered into the grim realities. Kelly is clearly struggling with a big decision about her adorable old dog. When do you bid someone farewell? Unfortunately, Kelly and Mark have seen that Chewy is becoming worse and basically slowing down in her day-to-day activities. However, following an incident, Kelly explains emotionally that having to make a decision without knowing what Chewy wants is painful. She discloses with sadness that their dog, who is approaching 18, had a huge accident and then slipped in it and rolled around the night before. Kelly Ripa's decision regarding the adorable old dog torments her. Kelly Ripa, presenter of Live with Kelly and Mark, is in decline and simply wants her dog to be able to communicate with her. Although Mark was not present when Chewy was hurt, he is aware that their adorable puppy is facing more difficulties. According to Kelly, I took her to the tub to give her a bath because this seemed like the true sign to me. According to her, Chewy typically fights like a dragon during bath time. This time, however, Kelly noticed Chewy simply resting her head on the wash basin. Kelly Ripa simply stared at Chewy at that moment, asking her to give her instructions. But Mark admits, she's really old. Kelly acknowledges this, but she is tormented by what they ought to do. I just wish I knew what to do, he continued. She bemoans and asks live viewers to message her if they know what to do. However, she goes on to say that she would rather have information from a veterinarian. Given how difficult it is to go through, Michael Gilman said they would consider doing a section on the subject. He also thinks that fans would benefit from knowing what to look for in an aging animal. Kelly Ripa is inquiring little Chewy is notable for having a benign tremor. Kelly Ripa appears to be inconsolable as she remarks, I wish she would, just this one time, say something. I picked her up, and she locked eyes with me, Kelly continues. And it's been a long time since we've looked at each other. And I know you? I said. Are you familiar with me? Kelly questioned whether she really knew Chewy when she nodded her head. She acknowledges that the tremor was probably the cause, but for that instant, she felt a connection. And now I'm talking to this dog, she continues. I'm talking to her in detail right now. She was holding her like a baby after the accident and only wanted her nearly 200-year-old in dog years puppy to tell her what was best for her. Mark Consuelos tells Chewy about his previous scare. Kelly Ripa was discussing the possibility of having to bid her farewell when Mark Consuelos disclosed that they had experienced a scare earlier. After enjoying scones and cream for the greatest dog day, she had fled. They were worried that she was going to die when she vanished. However, Kelly claimed that there was no way because she was in heaven on earth that day. She's a great dog. Mark continues. Have you experienced something similar to what Mark Consuelos and Kelly Ripa are going through with Chewy? What tips would you provide them regarding their adorable old dog? The Tuesday morning edition of Live with Kelly and Mark began with the usual laughter and playful banter between the hosts. But there was something different in Kelly Ripa's tone. She wasn't her usual breezy self. Instead, she had that look, the one that told viewers she was carrying the story in her back pocket, one she'd been wrestling with and was finally ready to share. As soon as the opening applause died down, Kelly leaned forward, clasping her hands. Okay, I need to talk about something that's been keeping me up at night, she said, her voice softening. Mark glanced at her, curious. It's about a dog, and not just any dog, an elderly dog, and I think I've been emotionally hijacked. The audience collectively let out an awe before Kelly even continued. She took a breath and launched into the story. The chance encounter. A few days earlier, Kelly had been out for her usual morning walk through her neighborhood when she spotted a neighbor struggling to guide a slow-moving golden retriever down the sidewalk. The dog's fur was more white than gold, its eyes cloudy with age, and its gait a careful shuffle. Kelly's heart melted instantly. I swear, this dog looked like a wise old man who had all the secrets of the universe, but just needed a comfy couch and someone to scratch behind his ears, she told the audience. And I did the thing you're not supposed to do. I stopped and talked to him. The neighbor explained that the dog, named Murphy, was 15 years old and had been having health problems. We're trying to find someone who can take him in, the neighbor said. Our situation has changed, and we just can't give him the care he needs anymore. Kelly's chest tightened. You can't just drop a bomb like that on me, she said, recounting the moment. That's like handing me a baby and saying, I don't know what to do with this, but maybe you can figure it out. The internal battle. Kelly admitted that from that moment, she couldn't stop thinking about Murphy. She imagined him lying on a plush dog bed in her living room, his head on her lap while she read a book. She pictured her kids stopping by just to say hi to Grandpa Dog. But then the practical voice in her head kicked in. She and Mark already had a full schedule, traveling often for work. And caring for an elderly dog wasn't just about love. It was about vet visits, medication, and being there for the hard days. Mark chimed in. When she told me about Murphy, I thought, oh no, I've seen this look before. This is the same look she had when we brought home our second dog, and our third. Kelly shot him a playful glare. Don't act like you're not the one who lets them sleep in our bed. Still, the decision weighed heavily on her. It feels like if I say no, I'm abandoning him. But if I say yes, I have to be all in, and it's not like Murphy has decades left. He's in the final chapter of his life. I want it to be a happy chapter, but what if I mess it up? The audience gets involved. By this point, the audience was leaning in, some visibly emotional. One woman in the front row mouthed, "Take him," and another called out, "You'd be perfect for him." Kelly smiled but held up her hands. I know, but I can't make an impulsive decision just because my heart is soft and my brain is mushed when it comes to dogs. Mark laughed. You're acting like this is a marriage proposal. It's a dog. Kelly raised her eyebrows. You say that now, but when Murphy's snoring in your ear at 3 a.m., I'll remind you of this moment. A call to action. During the commercial break, one of the producers suggested they share Murphy's story on air to see if anyone could help. Kelly loved the idea. When they returned, she held up a photo of Murphy, ears slightly floppy, a little gray around the muzzle, but eyes still bright and soulful. This, she said, is Murphy, and he needs a forever home for whatever time he's got left. If you're someone who can handle vet bills, slow walks, and a dog who will look at you like you're the greatest thing that ever happened to him, well, you might just be his person. The audience erupted in applause, and Kelly's voice wavered as she added, even if it's not me, I want him to be loved. Every dog deserves that. The unexpected twist. After the show, the live team's inbox flooded with emails from viewers offering to adopt Murphy. One message stood out from a retired couple in Connecticut who had cared for 3 senior dogs in the past and said they'd love to give Murphy all the spoiling he could handle. When Kelly read it, she felt a mix of relief and sadness. It's like when you set someone up on a date and you realize they're a perfect match. But it means they're not going to be with you, she told Mark. The couple came to meet Murphy the following weekend, and it was clear from the start he found his new family. He trotted, hobbled, right over to them like he knew. Kelly said on Monday's show, smiling through tears. I cried in my sunglasses like an idiot. But they promised to send me updates and pictures. The reflection. Kelly ended the segment with a heartfelt message to the audience. We all have those moments where our heart says one thing and our head says another. This time, my head won, but my heart still feels like it got what it wanted. Murphy's happy, and that's all that matters. And maybe that's the real lesson. It's not about owning every dog you love. Sometimes it's just about making sure they get where they need to go. Mark squeezed her hand and added, "And now we have visiting rights." The audience laughed, but a few wiped away tears. Kelly gave one last smile. "So, Murphy, if you're watching, okay, you're definitely not watching because you're a dog. But if you were, I'd say, be good to your new parents, don't hog the bed, and eat all the treats you can." And with that, the show rolled on to its next segment. But not before the cameras caught Kelly glancing at the photo of Murphy one more time, her expression a mix of love and longing. Drop your comments below.